backpack that shut down the finish line. The story behind the bizarre behavior of the man who brought it there, and an apology from his family. Marijuana use altering your brain, and it doesn't take much. The science behind Boston-based research.
A near record cold on the way for tonight, but we have a big holiday weekend ahead. I'll let you know if the mild air will make a return before we get there.
Plus, the big security change coming to all new cell phones.
Live from our studios in Boston, WBZ News at 5 starts right now.
A Wakefield man charged with a finish line bomb hoax in court, looking quite different from last night. 25-year-old Kevin Edson is at a state mental hospital undergoing a psychiatric evaluation. Now, the backpack he dropped on Boylston Street did have a rice cooker filled with confetti inside. Good evening, I'm Paula Evans.
And I'm Jonathan Elias. Good to have you along tonight. Edson's family tells us he has a history of mental problems. He told police last night's incident was a performance. Bill Shields joining us live in Boston tonight with more on this. Bill?
Well, Jonathan, you know, after 9/11, you don't mess around at the airports with TSA. Well, after last year's bombings, you don't walk down Boylston Street yelling certain things with a backpack on and drawing attention of the police. And that's exactly what happened here yesterday at about 6:15. And now one man is under arrest. The question is his mental capacity to understand what he did. Kevin Edson stood serenely in court, facing a laundry list of charges, including making a false bomb threat. Still, a court psychologist said Kevin Edson was bright, but not rational. Prosecutors said he was dangerous.
During this time, Boylston Street, the large crowds that were there to memorialize the one-year anniversary had to be evacuated. The trolleys had to be stopped.
This is Edson yesterday with a veil covering his head, marching down Boylston Street in the rain, shouting, "Boston Strong." In his backpack was a rice cooker full of confetti, and it was only hours after the tribute to last year's bombing victims. After he was arrested, Edson seemed to realize he made a mistake.
He also stated to them, "I knew what I was doing. It was being conceived in my head. It's symbolism. Come on. The performance got the best of me."
Edson has a history of mental illness and hospitalizations, yet his actions left no choice for police.
That individual came out of somewhere, and within a half a block we were on him. We had the bag on the ground. Because we became aware of what was in there, we took the precautions that we had to.
Edson's family in Wakefield issued a statement saying, in part, "Our family is so sorry and emotionally overwhelmed by the events at the finish line. To have this happen on the first anniversary of such a horrific crime is unfathomable." And one of his neighbors acknowledged Kevin Edson was a little different.
I'm surprised that he would do something like this.
Bail was set at $100,000. Nonetheless, Edson has been sent to Bridgewater State Hospital for evaluation. Reporting live from Boylston Street, I'm Bill Shields, WBZ News. Paula?
Bill, thank you. And security is ramping up on Boylston Street, especially in light of last night's incident. Law enforcement's walking a fine line between safety and celebration. Our Christina Hager reports from Copley Square.
You can't get too far down Boylston Street without running into powerful signs of support. Around all the tightening security, the pieces coming together, excitement ramping up.
Our city, our town, we're here, and we're not giving up on it.
Larger field size this year.
At a news conference, organizers again reviewed the do's and don'ts, showing clear plastic bags. Runners get to check gear, and the post-run poncho.
It's New England, so I would suggest you bring both your sunscreen and your snow boots.
36,000 runners, nearly 10,000 more than usual, plus 1 million spectators.
The finish line here will be the most highly controlled and the most secure, but it can only accommodate so many people. That's why organizers are encouraging spectators to consider other locations.
They recommend the party atmosphere in Wellesley and the much-needed encouragement at Heartbreak Hill.
We'll be keeping the crowd back and off the field of play, off the road. So they just need to be sensitive to that. No jumping into the race and running with any of the runners. None of that will be tolerated this year.
Back here at Marathon Central's determination not to let any of these changes get in the way of what makes this race distinctly Boston.
It's not going to stop us.
Christina Hager, WBZ News.
There is unfinished business related to last year's marathon attack. Attorneys for bombing suspect Johar Tsarnaev were in federal court today, asking the judge to dismiss some of the charges. Lisa Hughes joins us tonight with these details. Lisa?
Well, Jonathan, his attorneys didn't get what they wanted. The judge says those so-called surplus charges will stand. Tsarnaev himself wasn't in court today, but bombing survivor Mark Fucaril was. He walked into the federal courthouse before today's hearing, and he has promised to be in court every time the case goes before a judge. Today, the judge ordered prosecutors to give Tsarnaev's lawyers the autopsy photos of the 3 people who were killed at the finish line. And the judge is also considering easing restrictions on Tsarnaev's visitors. Right now, his lawyers say when his sisters visit him, for example, the government monitors the visits and takes the conversations out of context. There is now a debate over information that prosecutors have to disclose about the investigation into the 2011 triple murder in Waltham. Tamerlan Tsarnaev, who was killed in a shootout in Watertown, is considered a prime suspect in that crime. The case against Johar Tsarnaev will be back in court in mid-June. Jonathan?
Lisa, thanks very much. And talking more about that triple murder in the meantime, a grand jury is asking Tamerlan Tsarnaev's widow for items that belong to one of the victims in that Waltham triple murder. Court documents reveal a man told investigators that he and Tsarnaev were involved in those killings. Tsarnaev's widow, Catherine Russell, says she didn't have anything that belonged to murder victim Brendan Mess.
And coming up at 5:30, the man Tamerlan Tsarnaev carjacked just hours before his death is speaking out. Danny is revealing his identity tonight, how he helped police track down the bombing suspect and his brother. Cambridge police are on alert after a woman reported an attempted sexual assault. The woman said just after midnight she got off the T at Porter Square and was walking alone on Richdale Avenue when the man attacked her. She was able to fight him off and she wasn't hurt.
Slick roads may be to blame for a deadly accident this morning on the Mass Pike. It was a horrible scene around 5 o'clock this morning. A minivan heading eastbound through Framingham spun out. A tractor trailer hauling lumber slammed right into it, killing the man and woman inside that minivan. The truck driver also went to the hospital, but he should be okay. Troopers say a rain, sleet, snow mix is what made the road slippery. They're looking to the possibility that this crash was weather-related. And a lot of us woke up to something outside that we thought we had seen the last of, at least for this winter/spring, and that was some snow on the ground.
Snow, and it was only a dusting, but come on, it's April 16th. The snow melted quickly, but the cooler temperatures are expected to last for a while. Chief Meteorologist Eric Fisher is here with a first look at your AccuWeather forecast. You had said last night moisture was going to meet real cold.
A lot of people were saying, I was really hoping you were lying over the last couple of days, and you were mentioning this snow possibility, but I woke up this morning shaking our heads. Cold day, 44 in Boston, 38 in Worcester. That's as warm as it's been all day. Never even got to 40 degrees with full sunshine this time of year. That's pretty remarkable. The coldest air is all across the Northeast right now. Still a bit breezy as well, not like yesterday, but about 20 mile per hour gusts. It's adding a little bit of wind chill. We thought we'd put that term away for a while, but not the case. Clear skies tonight. The wind's going to diminish. It'll be awfully cold outdoors. Lots of 20s. Everyone should be below freezing as we head through the overnight hours. 21 in Fitchburg, Boston down to 29, Chatham down around 30 degrees. Close to a couple of records. For Boston, we just missed it this morning. Tomorrow's record is 26. Thinking about 29 degrees. Worcester's record is 21. Both probably just a couple degrees on the warmer side of that. All right, we do have a bit of a warm-up in the forecast. We'll talk about that in a few minutes. Paula?
All right, Eric, thank you so much. And tonight, friends and family are gathering to say goodbye to a Boston police officer who died last week. Officer Dennis Simmons' wake is now underway in Randolph. It was on Thursday he suffered a medical emergency at the training academy and then later died. President Obama was scheduled to honor Simmons for his bravery in the shootout with the marathon bombing suspect. He suffered a head injury when one of the suspects threw an explosive at him. His funeral will be tomorrow morning. Well, it has been an eventful first 100 days in office for Boston Mayor Marty Walsh.
You might say, but a defining moment in Walsh's early tenure is at hand. The contract offer with the city's firefighters, that's coming up. Today, John Keller questioned the mayor about that. And John, what did you learn?
Well, Jonathan, Paula, not much, in fact, because in a move that's raising eyebrows around the city, Walsh is refusing to divulge details of an offer he's made in a contract seen as key to Boston's financial footing and hopes for reform within the fire department. Mayor Walsh took a modest victory lap as he marked the artificial milestone, claiming he's brought a breath of fresh populism to City Hall.
It's not my building. It's the public's building.
A building Walsh now runs in large part because of a campaign promise he made under fire for his union background.
I am the right person for this job to be able to negotiate tough contracts.
But as the city's firefighters prepare to vote on the new contract Walsh is offering them, we wondered just how tough a negotiator he is. What's the total price tag on that?
The firefighters are gonna ratify it. Once it's ratified, we will be announcing it.
Isn't that a little backwards? Shouldn't the public have some idea of how much of their tax dollars you're going to spend on this?
It's actually not backwards. It's the way that the negotiation is supposed to happen.
Is that unusual?
It is.
Boston budget watchdog Sam Tyler says after the 4% plus raises won by the police patrolmen last year, the mayor's deal with the firefighters will be a bellwether moment for the city's financial future.
These contracts getting too expensive. I think the issue is how do you pay for this?
Patrolmen got more than 4% a year. Is it larger, smaller, or the same?
We'll find out once it's ratified.
What will a good contract with the firefighters look like?
Well, in our minds, this is a department that desperately needs reform.
How about reforms in the fire department? Did that come up?
That's all part of when the contract gets put out there. There's changes in the contract.
Now, the firefighters union are expected to vote on the offer soon, and with public employee pay and perks eating up so much of the city budget, plus years of pressure for change in some of the fire department's antiquated practices, the details of the deal Walsh negotiated with them may well be the biggest story of his first 100 days. And it was such a campaign issue. That's why there's so much focus on how he handles this.
He must be pretty confident that there won't be public outcry as he moves forward.
Maybe he is, or maybe that's the reason why they're trying to get it all sewed up tight before we learn about it. We'll see.
Well, we know there was no love lost for the firefighters in Menino. He made sure that they had some loggerheads they just couldn't come past.
Yeah, those were tough times, no question about it.
All right, should be interesting to see what happens, John. Thanks very much. Well, the MBTA commuter rail is modernizing its aging fleet because today the agency unveiled the first of 40 new environmental-friendly locomotives at North Station. Have a look. The diesel-electric powered engines will save fuel and reduce carbon monoxide emissions. The T has one of the oldest fleets in the country, but soon half will be replaced with the state-of-the-art locomotives.
But the main thing that it means for all of our customers is that there will in fact wind up being a marked improvement in terms of the reliability.
The locomotives will be tested and put into service on all 12 commuter rail lines, beginning with the Haverhill line.
Teens jumping into icy waters, then posting the video on YouTube. Coming up, why local police are so concerned about something they're calling the Polar Plunge Challenge.
Plus, a Cape man punished for starting a fire that destroyed a church. Why the pastor and parishioners asked for leniency.
I'm Dr.Mallika Marshall. If you think that recreational use of marijuana isn't doing a job on your brain, think again.
Closed captioning is brought to you by Luna.
Buy 2 rooms of flooring with installation and get product for the rest of your home for $99. 877-241 Luna. Get ready. Spring has finally arrived, and a Subaru with symmetrical all-wheel drive can help you enjoy it. Love the road you're on and a brand new Subaru Outback. Awarded Top Safety Pick Plus by the Insurance Institute for Highway Safety. Drive home a brand new Subaru Outback, well equipped for only $23,795. Plus, get 0% financing for up to 36 months. Get a great deal and go love spring. It's made with wholesome ingredients. It tastes great and it's competitively priced. That's H&K approved. Hearth & Kettle's 3-part approval process ensures that every meal coming out of our kitchens meets high standards for quality, taste, and value. Many of our ingredients are organic or all natural and free of hormones, antibiotics, and artificial preservatives. Wholesome ingredients, great taste, competitively priced. That's H&K approved. Hearth & Kettle in Hyannis, Yarmouth, Orleans, Plymouth, and Weymouth.
The most annoying thing about flying? The treatment. It's like I'm some huge inconvenience. Well, excuse me for wanting a little attention. I mean, am I completely invisible? Huh. Well, you don't see that every Enjoy JetBlue's award-winning customer service.
Really? Okay.
All right.
Use the ready-to-go spreader and save time. Just turn it on and go. It makes lawn care easy.
So again, throwing in the $1,000 fuel reward card is really what makes it like 2 deals in one.
Actually, getting a great car with 42 highway miles per gallon makes it like 2 deals in one.
Point is, there's never been a better time to buy a Jetta TDI clean diesel.
During the first ever Volkswagen TDI Clean Diesel event, get a great deal on a Jetta TDI. It gets 42 highway miles per gallon and get a $1,000 fuel reward card. It's like 2 deals in one. Volkswagen has the most TDI Clean Diesel models of any brand. Hurry in and get a $1,000 fuel reward card and 0.9% APR for 60 months on TDI models.
WBZ News is sponsored by Sleepy's, the mattress professionals. Health Watch is brought to you by Newton Wellesley Hospital.
There is new information tonight about how marijuana use alters the brain.
It's very important. Boston researchers discovered permanent changes, and the more someone smoked, the more abnormalities they found. Dr.Mallika is here with us tonight.
This is not going to be good news for a lot of people out there. You know, people have long debated whether smoking marijuana has long-term health effects. Never more relevant than now when some states have legalized its use, and others, including New Hampshire, may do the same. But a new study published in the journal Neuroscience shows marijuana causes real changes in the brain, even among people who don't smoke it that often.
We don't know how much marijuana, if any, is safe.
Jody Gilman is a brain scientist at Mass General Hospital and lead author of the study. Gilman and colleagues found that young adults who even occasionally smoke marijuana develop real changes in their brains.
This age group, 18 to 25, is important because this is when a lot of people start using. They go to college, they're away from the home, and they're exposed to it, and they can get it.
They looked at the brain MRIs of 40 young adults between the ages of 18 and 25, most from Boston area colleges. Half of them smoked pot, half did not. They found that even among people who smoked marijuana just once a week, there were detectable abnormalities in the brain. Those who smoked more had more noticeable changes.
We found some really interesting differences in the brain, particularly in 2 brain regions that are very important in motivated behavior and in reward and in emotional processing. And we found that in these 2 brain regions, there are differences in size, in shape, and in what we call density.
Gilman says young adulthood is a terrible time to be interfering with the brain's ability to make decisions and control emotions.
This is also an incredibly important time in one's life to make decisions, you know, starting a career or choosing a major or forming relationships, and the brain is still developing at this point. So the fact that, you know, some function may be compromised in these people is a little disconcerting.
Now, Gilman says what makes this study unique is that it focused on recreational users, not heavy users like prior studies have. And she says the next step is to figure out how these physical changes in the brain actually affect behavior and function. So we know that they're physical changes, but how do people respond?
Wow, and you'll hear a lot of young people say, it's just like alcohol, and we've got Colorado and Washington State have legalized it. Other states look like they're going to follow suit. So how does that factor into all this?
Well, you know, she says it's a big problem because there has not been a lot of research done on marijuana. Alcohol has been studied thoroughly, but marijuana has not. And so she really believes that the policy has outpaced the science, and that unfortunately we need to learn more about this drug before we allow everybody to start using it.
A lot of field testing, not a lot of research in the lab, huh?
You got it.
All right, Doc, thanks.
Thank you.
And send your story ideas to Dr. Mallika. You can email her at drmallika@cbs.com or tweet her at Mallika Marshall.
A federal judge has ruled that the state of Massachusetts cannot stop the sale of the drug Zohydro. The judge issued a preliminary injunction to the ban that Governor Patrick put in place. The drug's maker sued, claiming that that ban was unconstitutional. The judge ruled the state overstepped its authority because the FDA approved this powerful painkiller. We needed a painkiller after waking up this morning and looking outside and seeing the snow. That was insane, wasn't it?
It was insulting. It hurt, didn't it, to see snow?
Just slap.
As we go to Eric for the few days forward, people are seeing these daffodils, little flowers sprouting up. Tell us they're going to survive.
it's sad. It's sad. There's a lot of people looking out the window this morning and all these beautiful blooms drooping down a little bit. Now, the good news is the sun is very strong this time of year, even though it's cold. All the snow from this morning is gone. Sandy Burr Golf Course, well, a lot of folks want to get out the links, covered in snowfall today, but that too has melted. So we'll get there, I promise. But compared to this time yesterday, we're about 20 to 25 degrees colder. This is a 24-hour temperature change. We all know that. Walking around outside, it feels completely and utterly different. Dry and cold air. Clear skies, and actually notice what looks like cloud cover here across northern New England. That's actually snow. That's dissipating as it melts throughout the course of the day today. All clear skies on the East Coast, and that's the way we look tonight. It'll be a good one for stargazing. Check out Mars. It's very close to Earth, relatively speaking. We'll be back into the 20s. Near record cold, probably just a couple degrees above those records. But it'll be 20s widespread. Everyone should be below the freezing mark. This is why we do not plant our gardens in April across New England. For tomorrow, it'll be chilly again. 43 in Keene as well as Worcester. Right near the water, highs just near 40 degrees. The winds will be turning out of the east-northeast. The water is still about 41 degrees. So there you go. Those are your daytime temps. In the morning, cold, bright, not much wind. The wind does die down tonight, by the way. Lots of sunshine as we head through the day tomorrow. With that wind direction, low 40s, about as warm as we can get. But even today, I think you were in the sunshine, it didn't feel as bad as it might have felt back in February with the same types of temperatures. So high pressure is the main weather player for us. Still there as we head into Friday, but a little more low-level moisture moves in. This could bring some cloud cover, make it a little bit more of a gray and chilly day to end the week. Saturday, feeling a little more optimistic. Looks like this storm to the south may just miss us. So it'll be a couple of rain showers early, increasing sunshine Saturday afternoon, and that will set up a pretty nice Easter Sunday. Temperatures there in the 50s, mainly sunny skies, certainly milder for any sunrise services. Sunrise is at 5:55 on Sunday, and looking toward Marathon Monday, things still looking pretty good. Seasonable day near 60 degrees, no major storms looking likely. There will be a front in the vicinity, likely across northern New England. We'll watch that, perhaps bring some clouds and showers. Still a few days out. We'll update this forecast as we get a little bit closer. Here's your AccuWeather 7-day forecast. The real chill is tomorrow and into Friday. Saturday feeling better, especially afternoon and evening. Sunday looking pleasant, as well as Monday. The next rain shower activity moves our way Monday night and into Tuesday of next week. So that will be the next one to watch. And coming up next half hour, we'll talk about today's snow. Unusual or not? Might be surprised. Paula, Jonathan, back to you.
All right, Eric, thanks. We'll see you then. Despite the cool temperatures, spring break is upon us. Massport now warning travelers about a parking lot crunch at Logan. With April vacation week, parking spots are now in very short supply. Massport officials are encouraging everyone to use the T or Logan Express to avoid any problems.
Well, have you heard of these undergarments that promise to melt away the fat?
Tonight, 2 companies are being sued by local women who say the lingerie is a waste of money.
Also ahead, a taste of spring in the kitchen. The best foods to celebrate the season. And now here's a look at what's coming up at 6.
A solemn anniversary ends with a scare.
A man dressed in black and shouting drops a backpack at the finish line, shutting down the area for hours last night.
I think what happened last night is going to increase everyone's anxiety.
This evening, we go one-on-one with Boston police to get an inside look at the marathon security plan.
How officials plan to keep more than 1 million spectators and tens of thousands of runners safe on race day.
I'm running for Boston Children's Hospital with the Miles for Miracles scheme.
For Ron Burton Training Village, to help local families touched by tragedy. I'm running to help give college scholarships to kids, to provide health care for the homeless. And on Marathon Monday, we're all running together.
WBZ-TV is proud to support everyone from the CBS Boston family, running to make a difference here in our community. To all who run for a cause, here's to a great race.
Don't miss the Bach Honda Spring into a Honda sales event at one of our 2 great locations. Bach Honda on the Auto Mile, Route 1 in Norwood, or Bach Honda West on Littleton Road in Westford, Mass. Drive home a brand new Honda Accord for just $79 per month. That's right, lease a brand new Honda Accord for just $79 per month. 2 great Bach Honda locations, 1 legendary low Bach Honda price.
Reed's Ferry Shed's 10% off sale ends this Saturday. Every Reed's Ferry Shed is 10% off list price now through 5 o'clock this Saturday. See 5 acres of sheds on display at Reed's Ferry. Get better quality than the box store and save 10% on the shed price. Go online to reedsferry.com. But get a move on. The spring sale ends this Saturday, 5 o'clock.
Call 888-85-SHEDS.
10% off a Reed's Ferry shed. You got a good one.
Beautiful day in Baltimore. Where most people will probably know that Geico could save them money on car insurance, right? You see, the thing is, Geico, well, could help them save on boat insurance too. Hi. Okay, I'm ready to come in now. Hello.
I'm trying my best.
Seriously, I'm serious. Request to come ashore.
Geico, saving people money on more than just car insurance.
Toyota is #1 in value, but it gets better. Because we give you all new stylish Toyotas. Better yet, we give you great deals with the Toyota Gifts of Spring Savings Event. Receive our lowest $178 a month lease on an all-wheel drive RAV4 with no cost maintenance included. Or get 0 for 60 plus $500 bonus cash on Sienna, including all-wheel drive models. Hurry, Gifts of Spring will be wrapped up soon. Toyota, let's go places.
So we all saw some snow this morning, but in the kitchen, it feels a lot like spring.
Chief Meteorologist Eric Fisher spoke to some local chefs and a brewmaster about how you can taste the season.
Today I have some fresh spring ingredients. I thought that it would make a nice simple dish to really highlight the bounty of spring. I'm really driven by what's fresh, what's in season. Fiddlehead ferns, there's like nothing cooler. How can you not even say fiddlehead ferns without smiling? We've got some fresh bay scallops. They come in beautiful small shells and we clean them out of the shell. So you have to start with a hot pan, a little bit of oil, a little butter. You gotta have butter because butter's love. Now it's okay to go with the scallops. Now I'm gonna go with some vegetables. I go with the peas last because I really want them to hold their texture. This is ready. So now you got a little fresh local bay scallop, sauteed baby carrots, fiddlehead ferns, English peas, and just a white wine lemon butter sauce. So you really taste the scallops and a little bit of spring. So these ingredients that I cook with today are really fun for me because I'm a little bit more knowledgeable about what in the market is really of the season. In this early spring, we roasted some local Long Island duck. We made a sauce of rhubarb, port wine, and some spring onions. We made ricotta dumpling, but we used stinging nettles, which are really fun to cook with. It's a really good spring dish. For dessert, we've made these mini lemon mint eclairs. I think lemon just makes you really think of bright, colorful, light spring flavors. Creamy and flaky and buttery, delicious.
This is what spring tastes like. I'm in no particular rush for summer, but once you've got the meal, you have to wash it down. Seasonal brewing has been with us for thousands of years. When I think of spring beers, I think really flavorful, but very light body, and wheat is one of those ingredients that really will lighten up the body of a beer and not come off as heavy at all. For us, our spring training is a light-bodied IPA with some very floral hop varieties. Tannum and Palisades basically give us a very bright, very flowery kind of character, a little less bitterness than you might associate with a traditional IPA. Heather Ale is a beer that we've been making for a number of years. It's infused with local heather flowers from Westport in Massachusetts that we spend an afternoon cutting a bunch of heather flowers. We add those directly to the kettle the next day. A few weeks later, that beer is on tap for the consumer. Well, there you go.
It's a kind of funny. Everybody who says, "Hey, how you doing?" I always say, "Living the dream." You, my friend, are living the dream. Great food,
Absolutely.
great beer.
No major complaints. Like the spring beer, but you know what? I got some beef because we have so many summer seasonals that have been out for a month already. Take a look outside. Is it summer just yet? It doesn't feel right.
Not so much.
People don't realize you have a passion for craft beer. You're into this.
It doesn't necessarily maybe look like it all the time, but eating and
You just
drinking,
outed them.
they are my two major hobbies.
Good thing you're running the marathon.
Yeah, right. We word it off.
All right, thank you so much. Well, there has been, believe it or not, another setback in the search for the missing Malaysia Airlines jet.
Still to come for us, but Massachusetts made equipment that isn't working the way it was supposed to.
Plus, a nightmare at sea. A ferry carrying hundreds of high school students capsizes. Tonight, the massive effort underway to search for survivors.
And it may look like fun, but police say this is no laughing matter. The dangerous game that teens are playing that has already led to one death.
Wake up and start your day with Kate Merrill, David Wade, Todd Gutner, and Michelle Roberts. WBZ News in the Morning, weekdays from 4:30 to 7. Like us, and you could drive away with the car of your dreams. Enter the Like CBS and Win sweepstakes, and you could win an all-new 2015 Audi A3. Go to our Facebook page, click like, and enter for your chance to win.
Today's weather on WBZ is brought to you by your New England Chevy dealers.
The all-new Chevy Silverado, from the family of the most dependable, longest-lasting full-size pickups on the road. The truck that beats any Ford F-150 in fuel economy, and the 2014 North American Truck of the Year. And now, during Chevy Truck Month, the price you see is the price you pay for a 2014 Chevy Silverado. Now, current non-GM lessees can lease this all-new 2014 Silverado for just $269 a month.
Visit your New England Chevy dealer.
My mom and dad love to shop at Lord & Taylor, especially during friends and family. They always take us along and we have lots of fun. And right now, almost everything at Lord & Taylor is an extra 25% off for total savings of up to 50%. That makes mom and dad say, yippee! Guess it's a big deal. So come on in, and you'll have lots of fun. Saving an extra 25%, a lot of great stuff, plus 10% off cosmetics, all during friends and family.
Tonight's primetime lineup is brought to you by Blue Cross Blue Shield of Massachusetts. Blue Cross Blue Shield of you.
That bring people to Massachusetts, none compares to the faces of the people you meet along the way. Massachusetts, it's a welcome sight.
He loves skiing and skateboarding, so young Tom Sims combined them, creating a whole new way down the mountain. Uncompromising creativity. It's also how Mazda made a crossover that combines nimble handling with outstanding fuel efficiency. This is the Mazda CX-5. What do you drive? Now, lease the 2014 Mazda CX-5 Sport for $229 a month for 36 months.
Our top story tonight at 5:30, young adults challenging each other to a polar plunge in dangerously cold waters. And now at least one person is missing, presumed to have drowned. And this popular trend, driven by social media, has state officials in New Hampshire warning people to stay safe.
New Hampshire Bureau Chief Michael Rosenfield spoke with some local teens about this dangerous craze.
Videos emerging online showing the polar plunge dare. Young adults challenging each other to jump into frigid waters and record their escapades for all to see. Have you done it?
Yeah.
Why'd you do it?
I got called out by one of my friends. Well, actually by him.
Jumped off into the white
State officials say the polar plunge challenge is spreading over social media. 32-year-old Aaron Hoyt is believed to have drowned at Profile Falls in Bristol, New Hampshire on Monday. Investigators don't think he was dared, but do believe his jump was part of a polar plunge. He was with his fiancée and a friend when he jumped off a rock and got swept away in the Smith River.
They had attempted to do a self-rescue by running down the river after him, were unsuccessful, and then had to leave the area. He had to make a cell phone call because there's no cell service down here.
For now, the search in the water for Aaron Hoyt has been called off. It is just too dangerous for divers. The water level went up about 12 feet yesterday and is expected to rise another 14 feet today because of all the snow melt and the rain.
Obviously, I don't see the necessity to go in the water this time of the year. You're putting yourselves at risk. You're putting rescuers at risk.
Tweets like, just got called out for the polar plunge and challenge accepted, almost died, polar plunge are fueling the polar plunge dare. Many teens familiar with the growing craze.
But I got called out, I didn't do it.
Yeah, it's pretty big. It's all over Facebook or Twitter, Instagram, stuff like that.
Fish and Game officials hope at the very least the presumed death of Aaron Hoyt will keep people from any more polar plunges. In Bristol, New Hampshire, Michael Rosenfield, WBZ News.
Tonight, a 17-year-old boy is in custody charged with an early morning murder in Lynn. Witnesses reported hearing gunshots inside a building on Washington Street. Police rushed to the scene and found an 18-year-old who'd been shot. Paramedics took him to Union Hospital, where he died. And a judge just sentenced a Brewster man to 2.5 years in prison for burning down a church. In February, a jury convicted Adam Finnegan of torching the Cape Cod Biblical Alliance Church in 2012. Prosecutors wanted a 5-year sentence, but the pastor and parishioners asked the judge to be lenient. Frigid has a history of mental illness and drug problems.
Tonight, a major rescue effort's underway off the coast of South Korea. A ferry carrying about 460 people capsized and sank. As Alfonso Van Mar shows us, about 300 people, many of them high school students, are still missing.
Emergency flares lit up the sky as darkness fell on the search area 12 miles off South Korea. Rescue crews worked into the night, sending divers to look inside the sunken ferry. On shore, hope started to dim for family members of hundreds of lost passengers, most of them high school students on their way to an island resort. The frantic search for survivors started after the 480-foot ferry suddenly tilted to its side. Helicopter crews used metal baskets to lift stranded passengers to safety. A fleet of boats, everything from inflatable rafts to Navy ships, scrambled to help shivering and frightened victims. Passengers said they heard a loud boom before the ship capsized. It sank about 2 hours later in frigid water nearly 100 feet deep. This passenger said people were told to stay in place, and those orders might have cost people their lives. The weather was not a factor, and the ship, which sails these waters twice a week, was only half full, carrying about 460 people, 150 cars and trucks. The high number of missing people, either trapped in the ship or floating in the ocean, raised fears that this could become South Korea's deadliest ferry disaster in 20 years. Alfonso Van Marsh, CBS News.
A U.S. Navy ship is in the area, and it's standing by to help if needed.
Tonight, a setback to tell you about for the Ukrainian government to gain control in the east. Today, armored vehicles flying Russian flags patrolled through one of the cities controlled by pro-Russian insurgents. Armed gunmen took control of a city council in the eastern regional capital of Donetsk. Now, NATO says it will immediately deploy planes and ships and troops to counter Russia's aggressive moves. And a Navy sub that was built in Quincy is now on a second mission to try and find the missing Malaysian Airlines jet. The Bluefin 21 sub is expected to spend about 20 hours in the water. It will look for debris and for any sign of the jet's flight recorders. A sweep earlier this week failed because the sub went too deep in the ocean and didn't work correctly. More than a dozen planes are also taking part in this search.
Students in a Pittsburgh suburb returned to class 1 week now after a student stabbed 21 classmates and a security guard. Well-wishers lined the sidewalks in front of the Franklin Regional High School, holding signs reading, "You are loved and you are not alone." Before school, there was a prayer service on the football field. Police arrested a 16-year-old student in connection with the attack. He is being charged as an adult.
2 Massachusetts women are suing 2 companies that make lingerie infused with capsules of caffeine and vitamins. The women say that Maidenform and Wacoal falsely claimed that their shapewear lingerie could help melt away fat. Maidenform says there is nothing wrong with its products, and unhappy customers can get a refund. Wacoal declining comment, citing this lawsuit.
Well, do you ever get hangry? Coming up, why you're more likely to lose your temper when you haven't eaten in a while.
Plus, a marathon runner who lost his leg decades ago gets ready to run Boston. How this year's race will help him finish a very important journey.
Whether you're planning a VIP party or just celebrating with friends and family, Dare has a cracker for every occasion. I'm Chef Kane Raymond, and I'm passionate about entertaining friends and family. Today I'll share some simple but delicious recipes using a variety of Dare crackers that will surely inspire your next get-together. Let's start with smoking good prawns. So I'm starting off at the base of this dish with the Vinter cracker. The Vinter cracker is really sturdy and strong. Flavor-wise, it's really, really good. It's got 8 whole grains and seeds. We put the chipotle smoked avocado puree on there. Some delicious prawns that have been marinated in a little bit of citrus. We stack them up like that. Then we put your favorite store-bought salsa. And the best thing about this cracker is really, you can leave these crackers to sit here and they're not going to become soggy. This next recipe is called Field and Stream. We're using the 100% all-natural Grains First cracker. Grains First is a really delicious cracker for a start. There's a lot of great grains and seeds and a lot of flavors. So we're going to put this cracker down on the bottom like that and put this beet, goat's cheese, and horseradish puree on top of that. From there, we put our smoked salmon on top, and then a little bit of shaved apple with lemon and some fresh herbs. So it's a great cracker, holds up really well with the smokiness of the salmon and the sweetness of the beet puree. one of my favorites. It's called Marinate Me. So the cracker I'm going to use today is the Britain Original. The recipes for Britain Original are really subtle and plain sort of flavored ingredients that let the buttery flakiness of the cracker sort of stand out. We're going to put the marinated artichokes, bocconcini, and tomatoes on the cracker. We're going to put a little bit of pesto on here. Who doesn't like a little bit of parmesan? A little bit of cracked black pepper really sets this dish off. From special dinner parties to snacking, Dare has a variety of flavors, textures, and shapes to inspire every bite. For more recipes and a chance to cook with me, visit Breton on Facebook. Inspire every bite with Dare crackers.
Charles, where's Dad? Doesn't he know we're shooting a new Kia commercial?
I don't know. Maybe he's in the all-new 2014 Kia Sorento?
I'll bet he's behind the wheel of the new Kia Optima. He loves that car.
Let's go find him. Is he over here?
Is he here?
Hey!
You can drive a 2014 Kia Sorento for $129 a month or a brand new Kia Optima for only $99 a month.
Shop us last. You'll love us.
Want to know where your kids are? Buy a Namco pool and be your kid's best friend. Namco, America's largest pool, patio, and game room superstore. This week, take an extra 20% off all pools. Buy an 18-foot Allure pool for just $14.99. That's an incredible savings of $1,800. And get reduced minimum financing. Don't wait. The sale ends April 20th. Place your order online now and pick up at a convenient in-store location. Namco, America's largest pool, patio, and game room superstore.
Today's Boston Marathon preview is brought to you by Modern Pest Services.
Well, we know runners from across the country, and really when you think about it, all over the world, come here to run in the Boston Marathon.
And this year, all of them have something to prove, including a very special man from Arkansas who's getting ready to finish what he started 1 year ago. A single moment can change lives. Jeff Glassbrenner knows it can change everything.
My bucket list was definitely the Boston Marathon.
In 2013, Glassbrenner ran the race. He was at mile 25.9 when the bombs went off. Decades earlier, an accident changed his life. In Boston, an accident may have saved it.
I stepped in a pothole, and so I opened up a sore in my leg, and so I had to take my leg off to kind of check it out.
Glassbrenner had lost his right leg in a farming accident 33 years ago. Adjusting his prosthesis kept him from the finish line.
I know that if I don't go back, that they win, and I'm not going to let a couple of bad guys, steal my finish line.
A year later, he's ready to finish what he started, and he has company. Chris Madison and Andre Slay.
It's no way I could have dreamt of anything to this magnitude in my whole entire life.
Slay lost his right leg in a motorcycle accident. He'd never run a race, forget a marathon. Neither had Madison. He lost his right leg in a boating accident. Both were heavier than a chance encounter.
I'm 39 years old. This whole pursuit of the Boston Marathon, that's a goal of itself, but it's given me so many opportunities to experience things that I hadn't got to experience since I was 10 years old.
They spent the past year pushing themselves and each other to new limits. They got new legs. They put in hundreds of hours of sweat. Glassbrenner at their side every step of the way.
It's been an amazing journey, kind of mentoring them and coaching them to get them to the start line, because the start line is all about those guys, but the finish line, it's all about me.
A journey of three strangers, so different, yet
you look at us and you see the smiles on our face, you see the hard work that went into it, but that day is going to be amazing, especially when we cross that finish line all together at the same time.
It's incredible, just three of the thousands of stories. WBZ is proud to be your official marathon station. Watch the race on Monday, April 21st, right here on WBZ.
I thought they were going to kill me someplace.
Straight ahead, the man who helped lead police to the marathon bombing suspects, now telling his story.
A little taste of winter here in April, but we'll be on a warming trend as we head toward the Easter holiday and Marathon Monday. We'll have the details when we come back.
Right now, we're about 4.5 blocks from where I'm going to be at the finish line. That glorious 385-yard stretch everybody dreams about. I'll be on the photo bridge right over the finish line. I'll admit it. That morning I'm really nervous. I really want to do a good job. So like being part of an incredible historic event that I think this year in part really defines who we are. It's one of like the greatest days of my life. It feels like we've waited a long time to get this race back, and I can't wait until we have it.
The Toyota Gifts of Spring Savings Event. Receive the lowest lease on an all-wheel drive Venza for just $178 a month with no cost maintenance included. The Gifts of Spring will soon be wrapped up. Toyota, let's go places.
Report a claim. Pay your bill. Safety's mobile app is just one more way we help you manage life's storms. For auto, home, and business, ask your independent agent about safety insurance.
Startups aren't for everyone. You do have to be willing to just go out on a major limb. This isn't something that we're messing around with. This is a real company. So it's important that we offer benefits. One of the reasons that we decided to pick Blue Cross Blue Shield was because it has this legitimacy. We have Blue Cross Blue Shield. You know, I could say it kind of with swagger.
Termites in your basement, ants in your kitchen, ticks and mosquitoes in your yard? With Modern Pest Services, you'll never worry about a pest, stinging insect, or wildlife issue again. Call now and your first service is free. Pest problems? Not on our watch.
Hi, I'm Roberto Napoli. People always ask me, what is the Nicolot difference? When it comes to product, homeowners want the best.
It lasts, and it looks like the day it was laid down.
This is Nicolot, this is a competitive brand. See the difference in the intensity of the color.
And the color went all the way through.
We apply a protective surface and eliminate all the pitfalls that other brands may have. That will not happen with a pay-to-shoot product. They can be confident it's the best product they can possibly buy. See the Nicolot difference.
For more information, visit nicolock.com/TV2.
Real people, steel people. They want power, dependability, and lasting value. Now is the time to get hardworking steel equipment for homeowners and professionals, including the reliable BG55 handheld blower, just $149.95. Plus, get the versatile steel KM56 RCE combi motor at a new lower price, now just $199.95. Visit steeldealers.com. Real people, steel people. They just won't compromise. Steel trimmers start at just $129.95. Visit steeldealers.com. CBS Money Watch Stock Update is brought to you by the Massachusetts State University System.
4 days after the attacks at the marathon finish line, police say the Tsarnaev brothers carjacked a Cambridge man.
His bravery helped lead police to the brothers. And now, as Michael Rosenfield shows us, the carjacking victim is ready to show his face and tell his story.
The man whose face until now has been anonymous, revealed for the first time. This is the Cambridge resident who was carjacked by the Tsarnaev brothers. He goes by the name Danny.
He said he did it. Yeah. The Boston Marathon bombing. Yeah. And he was pointing a gun at you when he said this. Yeah. What was your reaction then?
Oh, I couldn't believe it. You know, the whole world people are looking for them. The police, FBI, everyone looking for them.
And there he is in your car.
In my car.
For an hour and a half, Danny was forced to drive around town, eventually pulling up to a gas station on Memorial Drive. It was there that Danny took a chance when Tamerlan Tsarnaev momentarily put his gun down. He jumped from the car and ran off.
Did you ever give up hope during those 90 minutes?
I didn't.
You did not give up hope?
Yeah, I was giving hope at the first beginning, but later on I realized I cannot give up hope.
And you realized it was in your hands?
In my hands.
To save your own life?
Yes.
Danny called 911 from another gas station across the street, setting in motion the police pursuit and the gun battle that ended it all. If the brothers hadn't been stopped, Danny thinks they had more plans for destruction.
You heard one word.
New York, yeah.
New York. As far as you understood, they wanted to take you in your car
to
New
I
York.
thought they were going to kill me someplace in Connecticut or somewhere, you know, pretty far away from people. Nobody can find me.
You were that sure that they were going to kill you?
Yeah, I was pretty sure, I think.
Michael Rosenfield, WBZ News.
I don't know how terrified he was.
So brave that he did that. All right, let's talk about our weather situation. Yes, we woke up with some snow. Now the question becomes, how fast can we get rid of it?
That's right. Let's get right to Eric Fisher for his AccuWeather forecast. And we're hoping here. We're getting into deep April.
It's gone. All the snow's gone, unless it's in a very shady spot by now. Strong April sunshine. But these pair, they look like they might have been a little bit confused, but they're well equipped for the situation. This is Frosty, and this is Blitzen. You see the thermometer right around 30 degrees. Thanks to Carlo for setting that in from Revere. And we've also had, of course, some pretty sad-looking flowers out there, just buried by the snow this morning. Most of the things that bloom this time of year, they're resilient. The good thing about a long winter is that our fruit trees are not awake. And if you get a cold snap like this with a very warm start to spring, you've got big trouble. Snow totals fairly meager. It's mostly an inch or less. Couple spots just a little over an inch. I mean, we talk about this is an unusual thing. A lot of folks were a little incredulous this morning, but the latest snow on record in the city of Boston, May 10th. It can go a lot later. Last year, the last snowfall was on March 21st. There was a trace once recorded in June in Boston. All right, current temperatures tonight, 44 in the city, 38 in Worcester. Never got warmer than 38 degrees all day in Worcester. That's near a record low max for the day. And the cold air all across the Northeast. We got plenty of company in our chilliness. In terms of the wind, it's starting to die down a little bit. Still breezy this evening. That will continue. When the sun goes down and as we head into the overnight, these winds will diminish. It's just going to be clear. It's quiet, calm, and cold, much like a winter eve. Back into the 20s. Everyone will be sub-freezing for tonight. Again, this is a good reason why we don't start our gardens early around here. We know that's just not quite safe enough in mid-April. High temperatures tomorrow. A little bit milder than today, but generally it's low to middle 40s. It's well below average. The reason for that, wind off the water. So tomorrow morning, sunrise is at 6 o'clock, right on the dot. Be bright, chilly, not a lot of wind. Sun feels good. The temperatures aren't going to really show it, but I think it's going to feel okay with that sunshine. As we head toward the afternoon, sunset 7:28, temperatures in the 40s, the wind out of the east. Because of this area of high pressure, it's the main weather player for the next couple. Friday might get a little bit more low cloudiness moving in here. So I'm going with a mostly cloudy forecast, especially near the coastline. Another cool day. Saturday, maybe a couple of rain showers, but this ocean storm, for the most part, misses the region. So it's a decent start to the weekend. And Sunday as well looks like it's going to be cooperative. It's Easter Sunday. Right now going mainly sunny skies. Temperatures in the 50s, maybe even approaching 60. Sunrise is at 5:55 for any Sunday sunrise services. And then we look toward Marathon Monday. We're looking at temperatures near 60 degrees, no major storms in the region. Looking mainly dry. There's a front we'll have to monitor. It's going to be close enough where maybe you can bring some showers around, especially late in the day. For now, we're keeping it dry. So here's your AccuWeather 7-day forecast. The chilly stuff for the next couple. You know, there's a few days like that in April around here. We get toward the weekend, and it's mainly enjoyable. The next weather system we'll watch is Monday night into Tuesday. That brings with it some rain. Doesn't look major at the moment, so although it's a little cool, it's not extremely stormy. Good thing. All right, schoolyard shout out for today. And another great visit from one of our meteorologists here. You know what? I left the paper over on my desk. Let's go what this one is. Let me go take a peek. I'm going on a field trip myself here. As I grab it, here we go. So many of them lately. Barry visited this one. All right, so this is 4th and 5th graders at the Horace Mann School in Newton. My apologies for getting my list here.
That's great to see more faces.
And you guys go to so many of these schools, and it's so great, and the kids love it. They love every minute of it. So I got to be more prepared next time.
All right, thank you.
Thanks, Eric. If you want to preserve your marriage, try talking after you have something to eat. New research shows that couples with low blood sugar have higher levels of aggression. It's called hanger. Hunger, anger, get it? Hanger. Researchers studied more than 100 couples. They tested their glucose levels. Who does this? Then asked them how many pins they would put in a voodoo doll representing their spouse. Really? In the name of science? Psychologists say that if you have a particularly tough subject to work on, try talking during or after dinner. Do you even own a voodoo doll, Paula?
First, you might want to talk about the voodoo doll and why that exists before the hanger. Well, the sound of hearts breaking all over Boston. Here's why. Dorchester native and CBS Blue Blood star Donnie Wahlberg is engaged. The 44-year-old New Kids on the Block singer just proposed to talk show host Jenny McCarthy. And this will be a second marriage for both.
Can't get over the voodoo doll thing.
Hopefully the voodoo doll.
A new security feature could be soon coming to your smartphone.
But straight ahead, is a kill switch really a good idea? Why some experts are so concerned. Now here are Jack and Lisa. They're going to look at what's coming up at 6.
Paula, Jonathan, thank you. You know, they're some of the fastest people on the entire planet.
And today they are taking to the track with some of Boston's brightest. The event pairing champions with future stars.
Well, they're looking for their forever homes. Tonight, 2 separate children waiting for their adoptive family.
You'll meet them and get an update on their search coming up at 6.
I'm a frequent flyer, but it feels like I never get to go where I actually want to go. But when I finally do get to cash in, go somewhere new and exciting, I get shut out. No flying this weekend. Plans? Ruined. I should be able to fly whenever I want, right? You know, someone should really do something about that.
JetBlue's True Blue loyalty program. No blackout dates and points that never expire.
Toyota is #1 in value, but it gets better. Because we give you all new stylish Toyotas. Better yet, we give you great deals with the Toyota Gifts of Spring Savings Event. Receive a lowest lease on an all-wheel drive Venza for just $178 a month with no cost maintenance included. Or get an all-wheel drive Venza with 0 for $60. Hurry, Gifts of Spring will be wrapped up soon. Toyota, let's go places.
It's a fast-paced world. I love it. Everything at your fingertips. You save time and money. I love to shop around. But insurance? You may think you're getting more, but actually, you could be settling for less. That's why I went to TrustedChoice.com. I found the perfect local Massachusetts independent insurance agent who saved me a bundle on my bundle. A protection plan to meet my needs at the best possible price.
Representing Plymouth Rock Assurance Corporation.
Finally, somebody who loves to shop around as much as I do.
At UMass Amherst, the Commonwealth's flagship campus, we stand for progress. From the discoveries in our new life science laboratories, to our graduate work in renewable energy, to our advancements in life-saving storm tracking technology, and our mission to modernize some of the state's oldest native industries. At UMass Amherst, we don't just think about the future of Massachusetts, we help define it.
Data theft is on the rise. Nearly 1 in 5 Americans who use the internet say their personal information has been stolen. That's up 7%, according to the Pew Research Center. Some say thieves got their social security number. Others reported their credit card number stolen. And smartphone makers and carriers just agreed to add an optional kill switch to cell phones by next summer.
Well, right now, the FCC says smartphone thefts make up nearly 1/3 of the robberies in the United States. But as Gadget Man shows us, some experts say the new security measure could open a back door to even more data and identity theft.
Smartphones sold in the U.S. after July 2015 will have a so-called kill switch. The features will allow users to remotely delete data and make their smartphone inoperable if it's lost or stolen.
The idea is that thieves won't want to steal phones because they won't have any resale value.
Wireless makers and carriers agreed to the voluntary anti-theft measures. Phone thefts now account for 1 in 3 robberies in the U.S. Apple and Samsung already have lock and tracking features installed on their phones. But some, including law enforcement officials, say the measures don't go far enough.
Now, it's important to note that these options are relatively passive. The software will be there either for you to download or for you to turn on, but they won't be on automatically.
David Oderberg is a technology and security consultant for over 200 businesses in Los Angeles.
The issue with any type of security or kill switch is what if a hacker gets onto your phone and turns it off for you when you didn't intend it to be turned off, or a hacker gets onto your phone using some of this technology, like piggybacking on this technology, and is able to steal the data on your phone.
Lauren Rushing's smartphone was stolen at the airport. She lost valuable data, contacts, and photos. But she says it didn't have anti-theft tools and says the new measures would bring her peace of mind.
I would really like that. Yeah, it would have made that experience for me a lot less stressful.
The Gadget Man, CBS News, Los Angeles.
Just, it creates a whole new avenue of problems. Well, we have much more news still ahead.
That's going to do it for us at 5 o'clock, but the news at 6 starts now.
An apology from the family of a man behind a bomb scare at the finish line. Plus, he explains his bizarre behavior on Boylston Street.
Changing the security plan after last night's scare.
We're going to increase visibility over the next couple days.
The concern for Boston police leading up to race day.
Frigid temps tonight, way back into the 20s. However, we've got a holiday weekend. We'll track a milder air, plus a chance for some rainfall before Marathon Monday.
Sox slugger David Ortiz on Marathon Monday. What he'll be doing to show he's Boston strong.
Live from our studios in Boston, WBZ News at 6 starts right now.
We're learning more about the man behind this stunt. A backpack left near the marathon finish line. A hoax, police say, that shut down the area as officers swarmed in and blew up the bag.
Witnesses say he'd already drawn attention to himself, wearing a strange black outfit with a veil and chanting Boston Strong.
Today, as Kevin Edson was facing a judge, his family made an emotional apology. Well, today we learned the 25-year-old suspect suffers from mental illness. I'm Jack Williams.
I'm Lisa Hughes. Thanks for joining us tonight. Kevin Edson was in court this afternoon. Now, today he was in a blue jumpsuit, not the distinct outfit he wore in Copley Square last night. He is facing a host of charges, including making a false bomb threat. Police say the backpack he abandoned contained a rice cooker filled with confetti.
He also stated to them, "I knew what I was doing. It was being conceived in my head. It's symbolism. Come on. The performance got the best of me."
Edson's lawyers and his family say he has a history of mental illness. He is undergoing a mental evaluation at Bridgewater State Hospital. Edson's family released a statement which reads in part, "Our family is so sorry and emotionally overwhelmed by the events at the finish line. To have this happen on the one-year anniversary of such a horrific crime is unfathomable."
By the way, police share that sentiment. Last night's incident has law enforcement fuming and making changes to security plans. Our Joe Shortsleeve joins us live, not tonight, from the finish line. Joe.
Yeah, Jack, it's clear that security going forward is going to be impacted because of this event. And in fact, last night, one marathon survivor who was at the finish line thinks that Boston police should never have allowed this particular individual to get as close as he did. However, the police commissioner says his officers did a super job and that they protected everyone.
We're going to increase visibility over the next couple of days because of that incident. We'll have bike patrols down there.
Boston Police Commissioner Bill Evans doesn't want another incident like last night. Watch as our cameras captured the barefoot 25-year-old Wakefield man stumbling along just minutes before being arrested. And then there's this video from a bystander seconds before his arrest. Now you can see in this video, marathon survivors are all gathered at the finish line when police are alerted by an unidentified man that the individual's approaching. Then at the top of the screen, seconds later, you can see what appear to be officers taking a barefoot man into custody.
He went on the street, he had a backpack, and within a minute, our officers were on him, and we had the backpack back down on the ground.
He's the captain in charge of this detail, and he is from the bomb squad.
We showed several of the videos to former Boston Police Commissioner and WBZ security analyst Ed Davis.
I did have a high-ranking police official yesterday confide in me that one of the things that they're worried about is copycats.
Davis says all security personnel will learn from this incident.
I think that they did exactly the right thing here, but you'd like to be able to grab it before it got that close or that far down the road. And I think they will be looking at protocols for people who are acting out like this to try to get them under control as quickly as possible.
Now, it's also important to remember that while a portion of this roadway was closed last night, the whole area was open to the public, and backpacks are allowed. Now, if you're planning on wearing a backpack or carrying a backpack come Marathon Monday, and you plan on being in this area, you will be subject to search by police. Live in downtown Boston, Joe Shortsleeve, WBZ News. Lisa?
Be a very different scene. Joe, thank you. The police presence will be impossible to ignore, but as Christina Hager explains, with as many as 1 million spectators on the course, organizers hope it will also feel like a big, safe party.
Reminders of Tuesday's solemn remembrances have moved inside Marathon Sports, now fuel for motivation.
I don't think it would have been as easy to accomplish the training if it wasn't, if we weren't all running for this one purpose.
But we'll have to get used to changes. Security ramped up at the finish. At a news conference, organizers show clear plastic bags. Runners get to check gear.
It's New England.
So I would suggest you bring both your sunscreen and your snow boots.
36,000 runners, nearly 10,000 more than usual, plus 1 million spectators.
The finish line here will be the most highly controlled and the most secure, but it can only accommodate so many people. That's why organizers are encouraging spectators to consider other locations.
They recommend Heartbreak Hill, where runners are desperate for a boost, or Wellesley, where kissing's still permitted, but not much more. Back here at Marathon Central, determination not to let any of these changes get in the way of what makes this race distinctly Boston.
It's not going to stop us.
Christina Hager, WBZ News.
The case against suspected marathon bomber Dzhokhar Tsarnaev turned into a legal game of ping pong in federal court today. A judge ordered prosecutors to turn over victim autopsy photos to the defense. But the judge also dismissed a defense motion to reduce charges against Tsarnaev. Another pretrial hearing, by the way, set for June 18th.
People are paying respects tonight at a wake for a Boston police officer who died at the training academy. The wake for Dennis Simmons will be held until 8 o'clock tonight at the Cartwright Funeral Home in Randolph. Simmons was injured during the Watertown shootout with the marathon bombing suspects when police say one of the suspects threw an explosive at him. Simmons died of a medical emergency last Thursday.
You can't miss the spirit of Boston Strong in the new edition of Sports Illustrated. It'll actually hit newsstands this morning.
Wow, right now, Steve Burton joins us with a look inside a special issue. What a cover shot, Steve.
Yeah, Lisa, wow is right. More than 3,000 people came out for this photo shoot over the weekend, and it is special. It happened Saturday at the marathon finish line on Boylston Street. The picture includes Mayor Marty Walsh, firefighters from Engine 33 and Ladder 15, along with Boston police officers, runners, and marathon survivors. Here's a look at the inside cover. This week's magazine has special coverage of the marathon, including a series called Start at the Finish, which goes inside the lives of more than 15 people affected by last year's bombings. David Ortiz is also featured in this week's SI. He penned an article about his response to the marathon, including what led to this now famous remark.
This is our city. And nobody gonna dictate our freedom.
Now, in the article, Big Papi says he was just expressing his feelings of frustration and anger. The Sox slugger is reflecting on the past year and looking forward to this year's marathon, saying this: if I had to make a speech this year on Patriots Day, I'd say, quote, God continue to bless America, because even though it began with so much pain and tragedy, the last 12 months have been a blessing to see a city and a country stick together after a horrible event. To recover as quickly as we did, well, that's a blessing that could only happen in one of the greatest countries on earth. Ortiz says he will be cheering on the runners at this year's marathon after the Red Sox game, of course. Big Papi also promises to take as many selfies with the people as he can while on the route. WBZ is proud to be your marathon station from start to finish. You'll get all the coverage on the 118th Boston Marathon right here. Guys, back to you.
Thanks, Steve. Well, it certainly was not what we were hoping to see on April the 16th.
But we heard Eric's forecast, and we were expecting this, a fresh coat of snow greeting us this morning on cars and on grassy areas and on daffodils that may not have a chance. Okay, what about tonight? Well, Chief Meteorologist Eric Fisher joins us now with the AccuWeather forecast. Eric, I don't know, are those daffodils going to make it?
You know, a lot of the things that bloom this time of year, they can usually handle a little snow, they can handle the cold. We will be close to records tonight, so we'll see how many make it through. Record this morning, we're just a few degrees above it in Boston. Tonight's is 26, forecasting 29. I think once again we'll be just a few degrees too warm to break that record. Here's why: clear skies across the region. The wind is still a bit gusty out there, but it will be dying down as we head through this evening, becoming mainly calm overnight. Clear skies, calm winds, cold air in place. We'll be back into the 20s. So clear, just a chilly, almost wintry night with light wind. That's what we'll start tomorrow, and we do have chilly weather for the next couple of days. However, we will warm up. You know we will. We're heading toward the end of April. That includes for Easter and Marathon Monday. We'll talk about that and any stormy possibilities coming up. Jack, Lisa?
All right, thanks, Eric. Busy week. Elite runners team up with the marathoners of the future. This afternoon, some of the world's fastest men and women hit the track with local students. This is the Scholars and Stars event, and it brings former Olympians and marathon champions together with more than 300 Boston high school students.
And this event at the Reggie Lewis Track and Athletic Center wasn't just about the running. We're joined now by our own Ken McLeod, who was on the track today. Ken?
Well, Jack, you know, for most of us, elite runners and marathoners are really the folks we only get to see on TV charging down Boylston Street with those single-digit bib numbers on them. And that makes what happened here at the Reggie Lewis Center this afternoon a very special treat for some young runners. These local high schoolers are accustomed to the starting gun, but not used to having some of the top marathoners in the world cheering them out of the first turn.
Reminds me back when I started to develop my talent.
Sharon Cherup won the Boston Marathon 2 years ago and was one of several elite names on hand this afternoon to inspire 300 student runners from 13 Boston high schools.
It makes me like happy that I'm running track. It's like, because one day I could be doing something like that.
These Charlestown track and fielders got to chat with four-time Boston champ Bill Rogers, who urged them to keep running and hit the books.
Didn't always do well from school. I needed my running, you know, to be active and kind of calm me down a little bit.
During warm-up, some kids got a few pointers from Greg Meyer, the last American man to win Boston way back in 1983.
What applies to the top athletes here for Boston applies to them as well. There's no difference, really.
Indeed, these student athletes were urged to pursue track as a way to get a college scholarship, not to mention the clarity of mind it provides.
In sports, what goes on between the ears is everything.
U.S. half marathon champ Serena Burla knows that, having overcome cancer to run her first Boston this coming Monday.
But one thing you can't control is your attitude, so hopefully they just always try and maintain a positive attitude through whatever situations they face throughout life.
So the kids collected an elite tip or two that might help them out on the track this spring, and each got something a little more tangible, a brand new pair of Adidas running shoes. Live in Roxbury tonight, Ken McLeod, WBZ News. Lisa, back to you.
Bonus. Thank you, Ken.
Yeah.
Ready for the playoffs. Ahead of their first game of the postseason, the Bruins talking about starting a new chase for the Stanley Cup.
Then coming up on Wednesday's Child Tonight, two children still looking for a home of their own. The search for two families, one for Megan and Danny. Coming up.
It's Empire Today's biggest sale. 50% off flooring, 50% off materials, and 50% off installation.
800-588-2300 Empire.
Today, it's award season, and some talented casts are getting honored for their performances off stage.
Way off stage. Out here, there's plenty of thrills, action, and the occasional cliffhanger. And the stars are much brighter than the ones on the red carpet. But the best part? I get to be the paparazzi.
Hurry in for great deals on the award-winning Jeep brand lineup. Get a low-mileage lease on the all-new 2014 Jeep Cherokee Sport front-wheel drive for $199 a month for well-qualified lessees.
Businesses come in all sizes, and so do their financial needs. At Commerce Bank, we've helped hundreds of businesses, large and small, achieve their goals with innovative products, billion-dollar lending power, and experts who understand your business and your marketplace. Whether you need $200,000 or $20 million, call or visit us at bankatcommerce.com. Commerce Bank. Ask what we can do for you.
Really? Okay. All right.
Use the ready-to-go spreader and save time. Just turn it on and go. It makes lawn care easy.
It's a real estate jungle out there. That's why we've let a lion loose in your neighborhood. But there's no need to run. This lion is on your side every step of the way. Lear Realty Partners. We're one of the largest real estate firms in New England, with over 300 experienced agents, a 15-year track record, and the latest tools, roaring into the market with a brand new name, Lear Realty Partners. The roar that opens more doors.
Conviction, creativity, courage. This is the Mazda way. It's why the IIHS named both the Mazda 3 and Mazda 6 a top safety pick plus. And both are named a Car and Driver 10 Best. What do you drive? Now lease the 2014 Mazda 3 ISV for $159 a month for 36 months.
It's Empire Today's biggest sale. 50% off carpet and flooring, 50% off padding and materials, and 50% off installation.
800-588-2300 Empire.
Today. Better be aware, a warning tonight from Cambridge police after a woman was apparently sexually assaulted. The woman had gotten off the T at Porter Square, was attacked on Richdale Avenue just after midnight in Cambridge. She says she fought off her attacker and thank heavens was not injured. Well, let's get to the weather. While I was walking on the Boston Common this morning, I saw a couple both in T-shirts. Now that's tough.
Wow. Okay. They're very optimistic too, Eric. We would like it if this could turn around soon.
You know, it's hard to get much colder than what we saw during the day today. At least we had the sunshine, and at least maybe you weren't waking up to a scene like this. All right, this is Athol. Tom sent it in. You gotta be kidding me. April 16th, you look out your back door and see something like that. A couple of inches around Athol, and there were several inches out into the Berkshires last night. In Boston, 0.3 wasn't even a record for the date, though. Actually, it snowed an inch in 1992 on the 16th. The latest measurable snowfall in Boston, May 10th, back in 1977. So it can happen, and it can happen weeks later than what we just saw. The snow has been disappearing, and the loss has been greater than the gain. This is what we saw on April 1st. We had over 40 inches of snow in interior Maine, over a couple feet in northern New England. Since the start of this month, this is what's left. Just a little bit across interior Maine, by their standards anyway. And all that melted snow, the equivalent of a 1-foot rainstorm. 12 inches of water equivalent melted out of all that. And that's why they're dealing with flooding issues across northern New England. Around here tonight, clear skies. There's the front that just gave us that wild weather off to the east. There's a snowstorm underway across the upper Midwest. I don't mean to be harsh, but I'm thankful that it's not our problem tonight. Now, clear skies, 43 degrees in Boston. Everyone in the 40s except for Worcester in the 30s. We didn't escape the 30s all day. And everyone tonight sub-freezing. Back into the 20s, close to those record lows we mentioned just a little bit earlier on in the newscast. Tomorrow, it's bright again, but it's chilly again. Low to mid-40s. That's as good as we can do. A little different reason why. Today was the cold air pouring in. Tomorrow, it's the wind coming in off the water. Now, water is still very cold. Sunrise is at 6 a.m. on the dot tomorrow to get the day started. The sun will feel good, even though it's very chilly. Midday, around 40 degrees. That wind out of the east-northeast, about 10 to 20. If you're right along the coast, you'll probably feel a little bit more than, say, into Worcester County or even around Metro West. Sunset, 7:28. Again, mostly sunny as we end the day. It's high pressure here that's responsible for this. It's actually not just going to be chilly here, but all the way down the East Coast because of that. We head to Friday. Some low clouds try to back in off the ocean, so especially near the coast, could be rather gray to end the week. On Saturday, another storm tries to pass nearby. I think it's going to stay just off to our south. So maybe a couple of showers on Saturday. Definitely not a washout day. And then we're looking at improving conditions for the end of the weekend. Easter Sunday, sunrise, 5:55. If you have Sunday service that you're going to be attending, mainly sunny, temperatures in the 50s. And then for Marathon Monday, still staying optimistic on this. High temperatures near 60, no major storms nearby. There will be a front in the vicinity. We'll monitor that. Maybe bring some clouds and some showers in by late in the day. Several days off, of course. Check back in for updates. So here's your AccuWeather 7-day forecast. The chilly stuff is tonight through Friday. We get to Saturday. It's a little more seasonable. Sunday is looking good. And no big storms on that map. Just some rain showers Monday night into Tuesday, where things will turn a little bit more mild. So we're going to keep an optimistic note here, Lisa and Jack.
All right, we will too then, Eric. Thank you. And also hoping the Bruins are all feeling better after a flu bug hit the team.
Yeah, they got to be ready by Friday.
By Friday, and hockey players are tough. They'll be ready no matter what. That's what I say. Bruins practice this morning in Wilmington as they gear up for Friday's playoff opener against the Detroit Red Wings at the Garden. Patrice Bergeron was back on the ice after missing yesterday. However, Chris Kelly and Daniel Payet were not. Meanwhile, Dan Rhodes says the Bees know Detroit will be tough, but they're excited about this first-round series.
If there's one player who appreciates Boston's playoff meeting with Detroit, it's NHL history and stats buff Milan Lucic.
Since 2011, we've played every original six team in a playoff series now, so it's pretty cool.
Is that the stat nugget of the day?
I was actually thinking about that on the drive over.
Red Wings are a dangerous opponent, loaded with playoff-tested veterans. But the Bees feel good about themselves, too, after garnering the most points in the regular season.
We're very confident. We're excited at a challenge like this. And, you know, to win the Stanley Cup, you got to go through the best teams, and we feel that Detroit's a great opponent.
Bergeron
Despite a Stanley Cup title and a trip to the finals in 2 of the last 3 seasons, the Bruins have always had a tough time in the first round. They've been taken to 7 games each of the last 3 seasons and actually lost 2 years ago to the Washington Capitals.
40% of the underdog teams have won the first round. That's a pretty high number, you know, in the first round. So that means there's a lot of upsets going on.
The puck drops Friday night at the Garden. With the Bruins in Wilmington, I'm Dan Roach, WBZ Sports.
All right, Roach, the Red Sox and White Sox go at it again in the Windy City tonight. Clay Buchholz will get the start. Sox, by the way, have lost 4 out of the last 5 games. Dustin Pedroia is back in the lineup. He did play a little last night, but he's been sidelined with a sore wrist. Meanwhile, Mike Napoli will sit this one out after dislocating his left ring finger last night, diving headfirst into second base. Ouch. Good news is it's not broken, just sore. Daniel Novel will get the start at first base. Well, for better or for worse, the Celtics play their final game of the season tonight at the Garden against the Wizards. Coming in, the C's have the 5th worst record in the league, 1 game behind the 4th worst and 1 ahead of the 6th, so their place in the lottery is still in flux. Patriots announced their 3 finalists for this year's Patriots Hall of Fame induction: cornerbacks Raymond Claiborne and Ty Law, as well as head coach Bill Parcells, the Big Tuna. Pats fans can cast their votes on Patriots.com for the next month. Voting ends May 15th. So here you go. Just think about this. Last year, playoffs, Patrice Bergeron, punctured lung, dislocated shoulder, broken rib. Still played. That's how tough hockey players are.
Well, my hat's off to them.
There you go.
They win again.
Absolutely.
Now, CBS Evening News is coming up at 6:30.
Scott Pelley joins us live from New York City tonight with a preview. Scott?
Jack, Lisa, great to be with you, and it was great to be in Boston with you yesterday as well for those moving ceremonies to commemorate the loss and celebrate the recovery from the Boston bombings a year ago. We're going to have a story for you tonight on the CBS Evening News about fake art. This is how a forgery can become an art form. You won't believe the paintings you're about to see and who actually painted them. And we'll have that and all the rest of the world news for you coming up on the CBS Evening News.
Well, Scott, we'll look forward to it. Thank you. And Stella had 2 really sweet children you'll want to meet.
Coming up next, we update the search for a home for Megan and Donnie.
Prepare to weep at the glory of my genius. When you're America's favorite geeks, yeah, that's big.
He is a born showman.
When you're the #1 comedy on television,
Leonard?
It's not a great time.
that's big. When you're having your biggest season ever,
My brain is better than
everybody, that's Big Bang. Yeah! The Big Bang Theory, Thursday, only CBS.
Get ready. Spring has finally arrived. Andy Subaru with symmetrical all-wheel drive can help you enjoy it. Love the road you're on in a brand new Subaru Forester, Motor Trend's 2014 Sport Utility of the Year. Drive home a brand new Subaru Forester, a top safety pick plus for only $21,995. Plus, get 1.9% financing for up to 48 months. Get a great deal and go love spring.
Tomorrow at dusk, join the New England Hemophilia Association and Biogen IDEC as they illuminate MassDOT's Zachem Bridge in red to raise awareness and honor World Hemophilia Day, April 17th.
Termites cause structural damage, and most homeowners don't even know what's happening. Protect your investment with the Home Care Termite Program from Modern Pest Services. Call for a free, no-hassle quote over the phone. Termite problems? Not on our watch.
My mom and dad love to shop at Lord & Taylor, especially during friends and family. They always take us along and we have lots of fun. And right now, almost everything at Lord & Taylor is an extra 25% off for total savings of up to 50%. That makes mom and dad say, yippee! Guess it's a big deal. So come on in and you'll have lots of fun. Saving an extra 25% on a lot of great stuff. Plus 10% off cosmetics, all during friends and family.
It's made with wholesome ingredients it tastes great, and it's competitively priced. That's H&K approved. Hearth & Kettle's 3-part approval process ensures that every meal coming out of our kitchens meets high standards for quality, taste, and value. Many of our ingredients are organic or all natural and free of hormones, antibiotics, and artificial preservatives. Wholesome ingredients, great taste, competitively priced. That's H&K approved. Hearth & Kettle in Hyannis, Yarmouth, Orleans, Plymouth, and Weymouth.
New Englanders have a rich history. We drive by historic locations and iconic landmarks every day, and we're proud to call it our home. Defined not only by the people and the places, but also by the very cars we drive. So how close are you from getting a great deal and outstanding service on a Subaru? At Metro West Subaru, you're only minutes away from our everyday low prices.
I'm Michael Petrick, General Manager of Metro West Subaru. Come on over and experience it for yourself.
Tonight on Wednesday's Child, 2 beautiful children we featured before who continue to wait for adoptive homes.
One of these children is a little 6-year-old boy. The other is a teenage girl with a heart of gold and a love of little children. We start with Megan.
I don't care how many parents there are, like if there's 1 or 2. I don't care if they're the same sex. Like, I just want a family.
What would you bring to a family, Meg?
I don't know, just my awesomeness.
How would you help around the house? Do you mind? Are you basically cheerful?
I don't know, like, I'll help out with anything. If they have kids, I'll help out with them too. I think it's important for me to find a family because not a lot of 15-year-olds, actually teenagers in general, can find a family because they're like, oh, let's get the little kids first, and you're forgetting about the teens. So I think it's important that we get family too.
Hello, Jack.
Say Wednesday's Child.
Wednesday's Child.
That's you. I must admit, this is not quite what I expected when I met 6-year-old Donnie at Ironstone Farm in Andover. You love horses, don't you?
Yes.
His social work.
Academically, he's extremely strong, and once he's stable and in a home, he's just going to continue to grow. And if he finds the right family that can push him to do what he's capable of doing, I think it's going to be great.
Hey, Donnie, are you a good boy?
Yes.
You are?
Yes.
Look at that look.
Yeah, really, I am. We can tell, Donnie.
Hey, for more information on little Donnie or that precious Megan, you can call the Mass Adoption Resource Exchange right now. You can always check out my website at jackwilliamswednesdayschild.com. Got some big things happening this year. Some fundraisers this summer.
Looking forward to all of that. Great couple of kids there. We'll be back right after this.
Closed captioning is brought to you by My Son the Waiter, a Jewish tragedy, now playing at the Regent Theater in Arlington.
Our faith in each other, our common creed cuts across whatever superficial differences there may be.
That is our power.
That is our strength.
That's why a bomb can't beat us.
We carry on.
We race!
We come together to celebrate life.
And to cheer for our team.
The crowds will gather.
On the 3rd Monday in April, the world
will return to this great American city
to run harder than ever.
and to cheer you on.
Bet on it. Bet on it.
Bet on it. Bet on it. Bet on it.
Don't miss the Bach Honda Spring into a Honda sales event at one of our 2 great locations. Bach Honda on the Auto Mile, Route 1 in Norwood, or Bach Honda West on Littleton Road in Westford, Mass. Drive home a brand new Honda CR-V for just $99 per month. That's right, Lisa, brand new Honda CR-V for only $99 per month. 2 great Bach Honda locations, 1 legendary low Bach Honda price.
I just was thinking any minute could be the minute, and the minutes kept passing. Both kind of relaxed and thought, she'll come when she's ready. And she came. She was so perfect.
I'm what they call a frequent flyer. The reality of flying today? Don't get me started. They pack you in there with no room to move. They toss you crumbs like it's a huge favor. And most of the time, I feel completely ignored. There's gotta be a way to fly with a little respect. you know?
Enjoy JetBlue's award-winning customer service, free unlimited snacks, and the most legroom in coach.
My Son the Waiter, a Jewish tragedy starring Brad Zimmerman.
You have to know things. I know 2 things about wine. We have it or we don't.
The Sun Sentinel called it hilarious.
I'm a hard audience and I didn't stand laughing. I made more money at my bar mitzvah than I did last year.
My Son the Waiter, a Jewish tragedy at the Regent Theater. For tickets, call 781-646-4849.
Toyota is #1 in value, but it gets better. Because we give you all new stylish Toyotas. Better yet, we give you great deals with the Toyota Gifts of Spring Savings Event. Receive our lowest lease on a Prius C, just $97 a month with no cost maintenance included. Or get best ever 0 for 60 plus $750 bonus cash on a Prius liftback. Hurry, Gifts of Spring will be wrapped up soon. Toyota, let's go places.
Well, it was cold just as you said it would be.
I wish I was wrong.
Me too.
Frequently, actually. It's going to be chilly for the next couple of days. 20s at night and 40s during the afternoon. It is April. Things balance out, and that's what we've got for the next couple.
So kids, put the shorts away, at least for a few more days.
You know they're going to keep trying. But, yeah, probably a good idea.
You know, that long-range forecast for Monday in the marathon looks pretty good. That could be ideal if that holds up.
Right now, we're very optimistic. There's going to be a front nearby, but I'm thinking near 60. Perfect.
Like last year.
Yes.
Oh, okay. Good.
Well, that does it for us. We hope you have a glorious night today.
We'll see you later. Good night.
5 days until the Boston Marathon, here on WBZ.